Hello, beautiful beings. Love and laughter. Tanya Rainbow Horse here. Thank you so much for showing up to receive the message. This video is for specifically women on the spiritual awakening path who want to deepen their relationship with their bodies and the cycle of their body. They want to take their sacred femininity back and learn how to honor their bodies. And when they learn to honor their bodies, they learn to honor Mother Earth on a deeper level. Specifically relating to our moon time, or people call it menstruation or period, but I call it moon time because I needed to rename it something that felt divinely feminine and divinely feminine only. I feel like there's a lot of feminine aspects that have been just slapped over by masculine thoughts and ideas and discoveries and knowledge, and me as a woman, I'm looking to take that power back. And so renaming it Moontime, since I connect with the moon is a very much feminine association. To me, it felt like that was authentic versus period or menstruation. Why do we have all of these things that start with men in it when we're women? I know it sounds silly, but these are just a few of the things I'm just like, don't resonate with me. Femininity, a lot of the beautiful feminine stuff is repressed in our society, and so just the uncovering of it and dusting it off and shining it up and just claiming it as female and forget about what any masculine energy says about it is really where it's at. So Moontime has been something that a lot of us have thought is a curse, dirty, messy, painful, hassle. A lot of women can't talk about it openly. It's been shamed. There's just a lot of bad stigma about it. And there's no wonder, that a lot of females have feminine issues, specifically in, the vagina, the uterus, the ovaries, the uterine tube area, because our energy is so closed off, and we're not taught to nurture and love it as it is and honor that power there, because there's so much beauty and power there for us to take back. I remember when I started, opening up about this and feeling good about talking about my moon time and the power of it and stuff. And, there was somebody that I was talking to, another woman, about it, and she just felt like it was inappropriate to talk about it, or it was dirty, or it should be kept secret. And I was like, fuck that. I don't think so. And so that just kind of encouraged me more to want to talk about it and make it normalized. And I know that sharing these sacred feminine energies and helping open them up on a deeper level is part of the medicine that I'm supposed to be putting out in the world. So, as today is April 1st, 2025, I just started my moon time, which I think is cute and funny that it's on April Fool's. I deepen into it in a different level. So I notice what I've done is not only do I pay attention to the seasons of the year, mainly the 4, but those seasons relating to my female cycle. We've got moon time, which is the winter. We've got ovulation, which is summer. And then the luteal phase is fall, and then the follicle phase is spring, I believe, or maybe I got those two backwards. But the point is, as does our beautiful Mother Earth have cycles, so do we. And when we connect the two together, magic starts to happen. So I really started working on liking my moon time, because I know that there's a lot of shame there, a lot of just people not owning it and whatever. And of course, I had pretty strong cramps, and I wanted to minimize that. I knew that continued to do the energy work and the healing and loving my body more, naturally that would start to happen. So I noticed a few days before that there's that tension, you know, where people talk about where you want to get pissed off. And yes, that is there. But that's that death phase. It's like you're about to descend into the void of your moon time, and you're having to let go. And so holding that tension is a fine line I'm still working on. But I do notice more when it's getting close to that. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to control a little bit more than I normally do. And this is probably where I'm about to release and let go into my moon time. So I pay attention to myself then, and I just work on relaxing myself. And then when it actually comes, I pay attention to what it's telling me. Today when it started, I was actually peaceful. Like the doubts that are in the fall phase, right before you go into your moon time. There's a lot of doubt in the fall phase, right before the moon time. And I had that, and then once the moon time started, it all disappeared, and I just kind of have this quiet peace about it. And so I'm able to just be present in my body and relax. Moving slow is good, you know, just like any energy you would take on in the winter time. Moving slow, being inward, observing, taking in, looking for the wisdom, being at peace, being present, relaxing, being still. And that's what I've done. Self-care is pretty good too. I notice, you know, we've got these cramps going, and, you know, things are fluctuating, moving to release and shed the lining. And so I've noticed that taking hot baths, being warm, especially in that section, I use hand warmers, or those little hand warmers that you could shake up, and I put them on my waistline so that it's right there, and it relaxes the muscles down there. I take a really hot bath. As you can tell, my face is hot, and I soak in Epsom salts, and it's very calming and peaceful, and it just helps cleanse away some of that energy of coming into it. And I allow myself to rest where I need it and to come undone. And it's kind of magical to just observe the process and honoring the slowing down. You know, there's a lot of rushing around and doing things all the time, but this is truly a time to stop. And so I tell my household, when I'm in that space, I need at least the first day, if not the second day, to just not gonna be doing what I normally do. And I stick to that. I completely honor being in the north and being in that wisdom and that place of slowness. And I accept it, and I feel good about it. I took a nap today. Of course, I stayed up late last night, but napping is usually a good idea. Sometimes I even sleep on my stomach. It helps press the warmth of, you know, those body parts into the bed and just creates extra warmth. It's just peaceful. And it's tapping into a part of the femininity that we take for granted or we don't honor. And as a woman who's doing shamanic journeys and is really connected to that primal energy, I feel like this is a time that is very primal as well, because it's a powerful time too. A lot of wisdom comes up in this time if we are tuned into it, if we allow it. People feel that being on your moon time is a place of being very close to the veil of the other realms. And so I have started observing that a little bit. I was out and about earlier today before my moon time unfolded. I was at a doctor's appointment for my dog, and I was feeling a little overwhelmed because there was a lot of action going on, and somebody was hanging out trying to figure things out, and there's a lot of dogs, and I'm just like, oh, I would really like to just be home and away from all this action. But instead of getting pissed off and irritated and annoyed and flipping my lid, I just relaxed into the experience and accepted it. Now, a couple of years ago, I don't think I would have been able to do that around my moon time. My moon time had a lot of tension, a lot of, just that ancestral repressed energy. It took a while for me to shed that and to really get in tune with my cycle, but I feel like this is like a next level thing for me. But I share all this because I want to open you up to connecting with your natural cycles a little bit deeper. I know how important this is for females to do this, because this is our magic. This is our essence. For a long time, my moon time was a real pain in the ass. And now it's kind of like the most magical phase for me, because I did a lot of cleansing there. It all started there, because when we're on our moon time, all those limiting beliefs go, all the work we've been doing, the rest of the month, whatever is not serving us is shedding us. As we shed our lining inward, we are shedding other things as well. So if you've been doing a lot of writing, inner work, cord cutting, whatever, clearing, energy healing, that's when it all comes off, is during your moon time. So that's why the rest is very needed, because your body is doing a lot of beautiful work, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So now I'm doing more healing around my ovulation time. I find that because I'm one of those people who can actually feel ovulation, so it's almost kind of similar to like a light moon time, where there's a little bit of cramping in the ovary area. And so now I feel like that's the cycle that I'm cleaning, my summertime. I'm still doing a little healing there. But some other ways that I've worked on healing the cycles of, my own cycles is yoni steams, which is basically, you've herbs that feed the female body parts and nutrients, and then you sit over a bowl of hot water with that in there, and you let it soak up, come into your body. So that's been really healing. I also drink tea with a lot of the healing herbs that help the feminine body parts. I've used moxa, like you can get a little steamer that you can wear around your midsection, and put a little moxa incense in there. You light it, and then you put it in a little container that's got a little bit of ventilation, and then you put it on your midsection, and all the smoke goes in that area, and it helps clear. The moxa is an herb. I'm not quite sure what one it is, but it's one that is really good for female body parts. And so I've used that a lot. What else have I done? Also just studying what details are for each cycle. So when we look at the medicine wheel, the east is new beginnings and illumination. That's where you always start. And so that would be the springtime, and your moontime would be right after your moontime. And so that would be a place of renewal. You're coming out of being in the wisdom cave, the void. And so things feel a little new, like the light, it like literally feels like you're coming out of a cave. And so like you're coming out and it like, you're a little sensitive still, but you're like, oh, I'm starting to feel renewed. So that's a springtime, and how that reflects with your moontime as well. And then after spring is summer, and summer is your ovulation period, and so you're going to be really confident. You're going to be in full bloom. You might feel extra luxurious and sexy and like putting yourself out there, and that's when you want to like sign contracts and go out and speak and be seen and shine and glow. Your summer is when you want to be doing that, you know, because summertime is busy and fruitful. And then after your ovulation, summertime, we move into fall. And so in the fall time for your moontime is when, you know, if those eggs weren't fertilized, they die and they start working you towards the shedding phase into your moontime. And so in the fall phase for you, it's the shedding of the death. It's the leaves falling off. It's the parts that aren't going to be used to grow life, and the old are dying off. And so it's just like fall with the leaves falling and all the plants going more inward. And so that brings us back to winter, the moontime, when it's the great void going inward, and it's the shedding and releasing and connecting to the wisdom. And then there's this, I've been reading this womb wisdom book along with some other shamanic books, and this gal talks about how this idea of free bleeding, which I've been practicing more and more, is just allowing yourself the space to like have a pair of underwear or something where you're not always wearing tampons and pads, and you're just allowing your moontime to shed without being blocked or stopped or whatever. But in the book, this gal was saying that she had places where she would just wear a skirt and let it run down completely. Now that would be a cool experience. I'm not quite in a space where I can do that yet, but I would love to get there. Or she even said that she was laying, or she sat on the stone. It's probably summertime. If it's like straight up winter, I don't know about that, but she was laying on stone without wearing anything and just feeling connected to the earth through her body parts. It was kind of a magical thing that I've been having in my mind as an experience I'd like to have. Or even like sitting on grass or moss has been appealing to me. I feel like there's gonna be a time where I might wanna like do a retreat where like people get on their moontime or something. And I know there's this idea of the red tent. You see themes of the red tent come up a lot for native cultures, indigenous cultures. Many different cultures had a place of power for women, who a bunch of them would be on their moontime together in the red tent, and that would be a time where they stayed away from the men, and they'd stay in this tent, and they'd lay around, and they would bleed and braid each other's hair and relax and eat and maybe make poetry or do art and talk with each other and connect with their femininity and just be in the power of their moontime together. That just sounds magical to me. And then there's also this idea of a ceremony for coming of age women who start their moontime for the first time. Man, I wish I had that. How cool would that be? Like a ceremony coming into that woman power of starting that and like celebrating that. Oh, my heart glows to hear that. I'm definitely gonna do some kind of celebration for my daughter when it happens for her. It's just, that is a place that is sacred for women and girls specifically, because you know what? Things are changing in them and they don't quite understand. They're going from being a girl and, you know, moving into being an adult, as well as, you know, having their body going through those changes and, you know, identity and who they are and what's going on. It's a lot going on. And so to be able to honor part of that while you're moving through it, I can only imagine how powerful and beautiful that would be to experience, to be around women who are like, oh, here's your beauty, you know, here's part of being a female, is carrying this beautiful cycle within your body and within, you know, with earth, and connecting it there and celebrating that. It's beautiful. And, you know, I've just really grown to appreciate ceremonies and rituals on a deeper level. I didn't really think, you know, how important it was until I realized, you know, phases of the body need to be honored and connected with, and until I really started doing my pipe ceremony pretty regularly and self-care regularly and taking care of my body and giving it what it needs to keep it, you know, thriving. So I just really wanted to come here and share this potent, magical, feminine energy, and to help women find a love for it, to find a connection to it, to find a way to bring it into their life, their world, and to honor it, so we can get back to a place of wholeness with our femaleness, so we can take up space with it again. You know, I know there's all sorts of magical things that women did with their Moontime blood. You know, and I know I've heard a lot of people, you know, I've talked with my girlfriends around like having, you know, sexual experiences with being on your Moontime, and how some women wouldn't do it or some guys are weirded out with it. And I'm just like, I would never be with anybody who couldn't be open to that. You know, it's like, there are parts of me that, you know, I haven't always revered my body for, but I've always been strongly in my feminine energy. And if a partner that I was with could not honor that I bleed and thought it was weird or gross, I certainly would not be able to be with that person, because being a female is what I'm about. And if somebody I'm connecting intimately with cannot honor that, you don't deserve to be around me or to connect with me. I mean, there's so many beautiful women out there who are just not owning their power and cowering and like don't even know what it is to really own their voice or the femininity. And I really would like to see more of those beautiful women out there getting that back and getting back to themselves and owning it, loving it, connecting with it, growing into it, and being able to talk about it and make it normal. Because we so need the feminine energy right now. And so the more we can get back to that energy, the better off the whole planet is. You know, the more that women can own their cycles and connect their cycles with the earth, the more that the earth is going to get loved. You know, she's going to be getting some of her power back by her children having their power. So I think that's where I'll end it. But I really appreciate you guys showing up here. Until the next video, love and laughter.